name's Frank, everybody knows. And what I wanted to talk to you about was a birthday present I was buying for my mother this past June 9th, or actually June 5th, I'm sorry. It starts out when I was buying a bike for her birthday as a surprise. She knew about it because she had told me about it previously. So anyway, she told me about the bike she wanted, so I go and I look at it, and I go to the store, and they have hardly any bikes on display at the store or anything, so I'm really upset about that. So I said to the sales manager, or the sales associate, that it's the beginning of summer, you have hardly any bikes on display, but yet they did have the one she wanted, fortunately. So I get the bike, I go off, I get her card after that, and then I get like some other stuff for like flowers and things like that for her birthday to surprise her and stuff. So afterwards, I dropped the bike off and put it in her garage, and I knew she would find it in her garage because that's where she keeps her trash and recyclable bin. So when she gets home, she would go in the garage and store something out, and she would see it. So fortunately, that night I was in class, and I think it was the same night that we had class that she had called me, and then she sent me a text and tell me how she loved the bike and stuff like that, because she wanted the bike to go riding with her grandkids, because they kept asking her grandma to go bike riding with them, and down her sister's down the shore, she could take the bike down there. So after she gets the bike, she's all surprised. She calls me, then texts me, and we have another guest.
Sorry.
That's okay. So, again, she's really surprised about the bike, and the only downside to it was, now my mom's like 5'2". The bike was too big for her. So all this I go through and get the bike back, and she tries it out, and she's too small for it. So I said, no problem, that was me. So I said, no problem, that's not a problem. Just go on to Walmart's website and look at the bike you want to get, and we'll go back and we'll just exchange it. Well, that's where the nightmare began. So she finds the bike she wants. We go to the Walmart, the same one where I got this bike from, and this was like maybe a week after her birthday. So as we get in there, I tell her it's the same situation. When I came to pick out her bike, it was the same situation. They were telling me there's no bikes, they're in the back, they're in storage, they need to be put together. Well, by this time I got very agitated, extremely agitated actually. So I just said, I want to talk to the manager. So wait around for like 10 minutes, the manager finally comes out, and by this time I was beyond agitated. So I says to the manager, this is harsh, but I said to him, before I contact our corporate offices to let them know how inept he was at running a store, I'm going to give you the opportunity to find this bike that says that it's in your store. So he tells me the same song and dance that was told by the sales associate 2 weeks prior, and that's when I really lost it. And I said to him, I've heard the same thing before, 2 weeks prior, this is so unacceptable. So I had to prove to him they had the bike in the store by pulling it up on my phone. I show him the bike. He goes in the back, and by this time there's the manager and a couple other people. They're all searching for this bike. They find the bike. They bring it out in a box, and I tell them what it's for, and I said, that it's in a box. It should be on your display. It's the beginning of summer. You have no bikes. So he says, I promise you I'll have this installed for you or put together overnight. You come back to pick it up next day, which I said, okay, I appreciated that. So I walked away from him after that. And then my mom follows him to make the exchange with the other bike and take care of all that stuff. Right? Well, lo and behold, he, as they're taking care of all this, right, he says to her, to make this up to you or whatever, he offers her a gift card of $50 for her birthday. Right, which I thought was pretty cool. I thought, So I went back and I said to him, I said, I really appreciate you turning a bad situation into a good one. Shake his hand, things like that. So then the next day, I get the call from them that it's all put together. So I go and I get the bike and It turns out to be a much better bike than she initially wanted, and my thing was it wasn't put together when we looked at it, so I was praying that it's the right size bike. So I go pick it up, I bring it over to her house, drop it off, and when she gets home, she gets on it, she loves it, and I guess the moral of the story is that if you don't speak up and say something, you know, that you're not going to get what you want. But I think in the future, like next birthday, it'll just be like a gift card and dinner.